Excuse me. What in the world are you thinking?
Mean Gene, the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
What up, y'all? KMB, the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be for C Plus Studios, and welcome to the New World Podcast, brother. And brother, I gotta find out that I actually pushed record this time because I had a doozy the other day. We're talking about AEW Dynamite on December 7th, man. On Wednesday, baby. Great show. The card was stacked. We had in the main event. We're going to go through real quick. We had promos from Jon Moxley, MJF, and Jamie Hayter. But I gotta tell you, I'm gonna come back to the MJF stuff because that's the meats and potatoes of this episode. But we had the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royale to start the show off, and good old Ricky Starks wins. And that's when we get MJF to come out. But I want to get back to that. We had Claudio and Wheeler versus Jack Hager and Daniel Garcia. That was a great match. But that crowd, I felt like, wasn't into it, like, at all. I just didn't feel like I don't know. It was just one of those matches that I was kind of like, yeah, okay, I'm enjoying it, but I don't think this crowd is feeling it. They got some random chants here that Jake Hager purple hat, whatever, can just go fuck off because it's stupid. And I don't know what's up with his wrestling gear. Like, it looks like it's just in boxers. Like, he takes his pants off and shirt off, goes out there, wrestles, puts his pants on. I don't know. Jake, I always call him Jack. Jake Hager, you need to switch it up, man, and get rid of that dumb purple hat. But we're building up to Ring of Honor Final Battle. That's this Saturday. I'm excited to see Claudio take on the Ocho, so we should see where that goes. And Wheeler Yuta is going to take on Daniel Garcia for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. That's going to be a great one. That card on Ring of Honor for Final Battle is stacking up pretty good. Pretty good. We had a TNT Championship match with Darby Allin versus Samoa Joe. I really did enjoy this match because Darby Allin is somebody... This is like... Let's see. Darby Allin is the opposite of a Mustafa Ali. The never say die attitude because of his character. Like, you have to kill him to win. And with this match right here, he went to toe with Samoa Joe, and it was a fantastic match. I believe his character more than I would a Mustafa Ali. That's just because of Darby Allin himself and the character himself. And oh my gosh, the drop on the skateboard with the wheels, and oh my gosh, I cringed, but in a good cringe. I was like, oh shit. And Darby Allin's, he's known to take some wicked bumps, man, and I hope he kind of slows that down a little bit because that could take a toll on his body, Then we had Kira Hogan, Madison Rayne, and Sky Blue versus Jade Cargill, Red Velvet, and Leela Gray. Jade and her team for the win, but there's a little bit of tension there. Little bit of tension, if you will. So, she'll see what goes on with that, but with Jade, she's fabulous. But I don't know where we're gonna go next with her. So going back to the Claudio Wheeler, Jake Hager, and Daniel Garcia match, they had an explanation. So basically, the farewell to was it Blackpool Combat Club? From William Regal, and Tony's in the ring with them doing an interview, and he's like, hey, look at this. I recorded this 3 weeks ago, everybody. 3 weeks ago. Just so everyone knows, before the attack, that MJF, was it 2 weeks, 3 weeks? He was very adamant about how long ago he recorded this, so I was like, okay, but it's definitely, we have William Regal going back to WWE. Tony had this, I think this interview or something like that, and I was reading, where he talked about, Regal wants to be with his son, but in the contract to let him go from his contract from AEW for like a year or something, William Regal can't appear on TV. I don't know how much that's going to be the case, and how that contracts are contracts, and that's a pretty good one on Tony Khan to be like, yo, yeah, I'll let you go, but you can't go back on TV because NXT has a pay-per-view this Saturday as well as Ring of Honor Final Battle. And if you had to put a gun to my head, which one would I rather see? I'd rather see Ring of Honor Final Battle. That's just me and my opinion. So it was a good send-off and everything like that. William Regal's off to the promised lands of WWE, going to work with his son, back in developmental in the Performance Center and everything like that. So much love to William Regal. And honestly, I'm glad. I've been wanting William Regal to go back to WWE because I felt like letting him go was one of the dumbest choices you could have ever made in that company. So I'm glad he's going back and Triple H is making things right. We had a promo from Jon Moxley beforehand talking about, he's how bad he is and he's done fighting. This is AEW wrestling, not AEW All Elite talking and stuff like that. So he's getting the point across that he's Moxley and he likes to fight. All right. Jamie Hayter had a sit down with Tony Schiavone. I could care less, but we did see Saraya. Oh, Saraya. My apologies. Saraya. Yeah. I know someone got butthurt about that. So we had to sit down with Jamie Hayter talking about, now she's the undisputed women's champion. But we did get a backstage interruption from when Tony was talking to Saraya and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Challenged her to a tag team match on the January 11th episode of Dynamite, the Winter is Coming episode, and it's coming indeed. It's coming hard, coming soon. So that's going to be good. They're already, and what's nice is they do stack the shows next week to where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see that. Ooh, I can't wait to see that. So this Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal was really cool. And next week we got Ricky Starks versus MJF for the title. That's something that I'm really looking forward to because before I get to the main event here, the meats and potatoes, ladies and gentlemen, MJF and Ricky Starks. My bad, my notes. MJF comes out after the win for Ricky, and I like Ricky. But I was like, I don't know if he's one to like dethrone MJF. Like I really don't believe that. But for the meats and potatoes of the show, this promo between both of them and MJF saying his stuff, and then Ricky Starks just comes at him and oh my God, leaves MJF running without his shoes and his pink socks. I was like, whoa. And then when Ricky held that title, for a moment in my mind, I was like, yo, this dude could beat him next week. Holy shit. And that's just great wrestling, like promos and that to make you believe in the match next week. And I'm even more hyped now just because Ricky surprised the shit out of me coming out like that, coming at MJF toe-to-toe on the mic, calling him a fifth-rate Rowdy Piper and everything like that. I was like, but I hope MJF wins. That's just me, just because I'm a big MJF mark. But MJF running away with the title in hand with no shoes on, holding his shoes and pink socks, and Ricky looking at him, I was like, this kid right here, man. I don't know. He got the mic skills. He just brought it to the table and everything like that. So I can't wait for Winter's Coming next week. All right, the main event. What a main event too. FTR versus the Acclaim. This was a fantastic tag team match and a fantastic match to end the show. I enjoyed it highly. I love the Acclaimed. The Acclaim retained the titles and everything like that. But this match was definitely fun, and we had a tease from Billy's kids after the match to FTR for final battle at Ring of Honor, for Ring of Honor's final battle pay-per-view this Saturday. They said they got a message for you, Billy's kids, the Guns, they to FTR, and there's going to be basically a dog collar match for the tag team Ring of Honor tag team championships this Saturday. I was like, ooh, FTR versus them boys. Ooh, sign me up. Oh my gosh, I'm living in the day and age where I'm just like, yes, just give me more wrestling. And that Ring of Honor Final Battle card is looking fantastic, but I like the tease there with the dog collars coming out of the stockings and everything like that. I think that's just great just to promote it and be like, yo, this is where we're going and this is how it's going to be. Who's next for the Acclaim? Where do we go next? But I'm pretty much overall, I'm very happy with everything. I really did enjoy the show, with Samoa Joe beating Darby Allin and choking him out, Claudio and Wheeler winning. Ricky Starks winning the Diamond Battle Royale, Jade and her crew winning, and it was a great show from top to bottom. I would say I would definitely give this show a solid 4 out of 5. I definitely enjoyed it. I can't wait for this Saturday, and I'm really enjoying it. And it was funny too, is Tony Khan talked about Rampage. Put my notes to the side. I know I've been saying I need to get on that NXT, I need to get on Rampage and everything like that, but there's nothing there that kind of like brings me in to those shows, especially Rampage. Yes, you got some great, incredible matches that are announced for it, but nothing really that's going to make me like, oh, I definitely want to see that. And I know I've said that in the past where I've seen things on the Rampage card where I'm like, oh, I can't wait. Because my mindset is stuck into like, okay, I want to watch SmackDown because I need to watch SmackDown. Why? Because I want to see the Bloodline, the Usos. I want to see Sammy Uso. You know, I'm so tied into what's going on to Friday Night SmackDown that Rampage just ends up on the back burner every single time. So, but, you know, one day it'll happen. And there's a lot more stuff to come. I hope you enjoyed that Hulk Hogan podcast that we did with me, Mel, and Phil. We recorded that thing a few years ago. I can't believe it's been that. We had a Patreon at one point where we're like, yeah, we're going to have exclusive content. This was several incarnations before we got here to the New World Podcast, brother. You know, until we got this final staple into the professional wrestling game, professional wrestling podcast brought to you by me. And like I said, the first incarnation was Wrestling Junkies. And that was supposed to be me and Doug tackling on, you know, and Phil every once in a while tackling professional wrestling. Then we did the You Can't See This podcast for the Patreon where we're going to go and break down wrestling careers and stuff like that. So, and I believe there's another title out there that we try to do. I know Wrestling Junkies was a big one, and You Can't See This podcast, which is a great name. So hopefully somebody will take that name, then I can sue them, and then I can get the money off that name, then get C Plus Studios really going, because I'd be like, You Can't See This podcast is a great fucking name for a podcast. Don't say any more than that. I don't know what I'm saying, but that's a great title for a podcast, especially for a wrestling podcast, but not as good as the New World Podcast, brother. You know, so I hope you enjoyed that Hulk Hogan episode. That's why in the episode, I cleaned it up as best as I could. And there was a little talk of Patreon. So if anybody got a little confused there is no Patreon. As of right now, no Patreon. We've been talking about it for a while to bring back the Patreons, but you know, I might do it in the sense of New World Podcast stuff, because we're definitely rolling with New World Podcast stuff. But I have other episodes that I found. The next couple up, there's a part 1 and part 2 that me and Doug did on The Undertaker. So I'm going to drop those here shortly. So get ready for that. 2 great podcasts, 2 great episodes. I can't wait till you hear that. Thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for listening. And I hope you enjoy this review for the AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite. I did enjoy the show. 4 out of 5. Tell me what you thought, what you love, what you hate, all those things in the comments below. Then after that, hit that like and subscribe button. Then share it to grandma, share it to grandpa, share it with the bum down at Walmart. I am KMB, the Sexy Ninja, and this is the New World Podcast, brother. And it's for life.
Stay one step ahead and make sure you always keep eyes in the back of your head. I'm Blackpool Combat Club till the day I die. Fellas, it's been emotional.